It is a beautiful day in Sydney, blue skies, the pitch in pretty good nick, and a derby to look forward to. Current temperatures rather warm, 25 degrees and 69% humidity. There is a slight breeze though, just to cool things down. The hunt for Vítězslav Levicka's successor is on, of course. His 3 years in charge, producing 30 wins, 21 draws, 29 losses and 1 championship from his 80 games in charge. And remarkably, Gary van Egmond has an almost identical record, 79 games in 2 spells with the Jets, 29 wins, 21 draws, 29 losses, and of course, 1 championship. Referee today is Matthew Gillette, his 16th A-League match in charge. He'll be assisted by Ryan Gallagher and Lance Greenshields, with Matt Cropper the 4th official. Well, if goals are what you're after, then these two may provide. For Sydney, Bruno Casarin scored 3 goals in 3 games against the Jets last season. And for Newcastle, Jobe Wheelhouse leading by example, 2 in the last 2, the Jets captain. So away we go in Sydney. You have to go back 798 days to find the last time Newcastle defeated Sydney, home or away. Do you fancy that might change today, Mark Rudin, or not?
It's going to be a tough one, tough on both these two sides. Sydney obviously haven't started their games this season off all that well. It's important that they get off to a flying start. For Newcastle on the back end of their fantastic win last week against Brisbane, the champions. They'll be looking to continue that good run of form.
This is Nick Carl up against his old club. 45 appearances and 7 goals for the Newcastle Jets before he jetted off overseas. And he's won his team a free kick here, floated in by Kissel, but taken too quickly for the referee's liking. Carol Kissel just picked up a knock in those opening seconds. He was feeling the left side of his body around the hip area rather gingerly as he moved away. Game just a minute old. Scott Jamieson to deliver the retaken free kick. And he finds Michael Beauchamp, who flashes his header just wide. Well, there's been a spate in recent weeks of players who've never scored before in the A-League getting off the mark. Seb Royal, Manny Muscat, Michael Thwaite. Michael Beauchamp is left standing on his own at the moment. That was a good chance, Roots.
That's a great chance for Sydney FC, and Michael Beauchamp as well in particular. Left all alone, shrugged his direct opponent away from the edge of the 6-yard area. He couldn't hit the target. Fantastic chance. It's gone begging for Sydney FC early on.
Bright start by the Sky Blues. Bridge. One back for Newcastle by Jacob Pepper. Wheelhouse finding some space for Ryan Griffiths. Sydney winning back through Nick Carl, and always an education trying to work out what sort of formation Newcastle are playing. We'll come back to that in a second. Here's Mark Bridge. Kissel, down he goes inside the penalty area. Matthew Gillette's not in the slightest bit interested. And this is Zadkovich. Offside flag raised against Jeremy Brockie. Good start for Sydney FC, and what about this appeal for a penalty here, Roots?
You see both players jostling for the ball. Zadkovich probably had right away. Kissel went down quite easy, I feel, as well. It's a good run as well by Mark Bridge earlier on. It's just the ball into the corner, chased down. The 3 markers around him. Set up Kissel extremely well.
Nicely controlled by Moriyasu. Jamieson making good ground. Disappointing end to a promising move for Sydney FC. They've made a bright start, the home side.
They certainly have. This time it was Jamieson who left his left-back position into that final third, the attacking third. And he's got to concentrate when he gets to those areas. Doesn't do it often enough with that time around. A much better cross. Mark Bridge was in there, as to Casarin. He's in there for one reason, Casarin, and that's for those crosses. He's one of the best headers of the ball in the competition.
Kissel. Bridge. Time to get his head up and have a look. Blocked off by Thiago Calvano. This is Grant, who's missed out on Ollie Rue's selection, offside against Kissel. His teammates Dimitri Petrazos and Seb Ryle are overseas. So a rather youthful-looking subs bench for Sydney FC today, with the exception of McKellar and reserve keeper Nachevsky Roots.
It's been a long time for Markella to see any sort of game time this season for Sydney FC. We understand he was told he can look for another club. He finds himself on the bench here this afternoon. Chianese, a lot of raps on him from the coaching staff as well. Sherlock, the young captain of the youth team, has been having a tired time with injuries.
That's a very deft touch by Catherine Bridge, trying to steer it towards Moriyasu. And Ben Kennedy almost playing himself into trouble. He still might have done. Kissel with the chip. It's over the crossbar. And Sydney really should have taken the lead there.
It's been all Sydney FC. His opening 5 minutes. On that occasion, it was Mark Bridge. He's getting a lot of joy down the flanks. Gets a bit of Topor-Stanley. And again there, that pass has to be played a little bit firmer to Moriyasu, who made his run from midfield. You see there, Kissel, a little bit too heavy.
Credit for the pass from Bruno Casarin. Really soft touch with the boot. Tarek Elridge on the left flank, trying to cut inside Grant and unleashes. Comfortable save for Reddy. Tarek Elridge has played in a few positions during his time with the Newcastle Jets.
Certainly has, last few weeks anyway. He's played at right back, in the midfield, and 2 weeks ago against Wellington, he was playing as a right winger as well. This time we see him on the left-hand side for the start of this game. It could well change throughout the course.
Carl. Moriyasu wanted the ball played centrally. Instead it goes wide for Bridge, who has help from Jamison should he need it. Carl. McFlynn on the slide. Fair challenge. Jamison whips it in. Casarin leaps. Maybe Topor-Stanley just did enough physically to put the Brazilian off. Sydney FC making all the early running at the SFS.
It's Moriyasu as well. He's just come into this side. He's making some really good third-man runs. No one's really tracking him from midfield either, that Newcastle team. What that's doing is putting a lot of doubt in the defenders' minds as well. They are marking Casarin and Bridge at the moment, with Moriyasu coming from deep. They're at 6s and 7s, the Newcastle defence.
He almost became the forgotten man, didn't he, at Sydney, Hirofumi Moriyasu, but a good cameo off the bench against Melbourne Victory. Place of the injured Emerton earns him a start today. Beauchamp telegraphed that one. Zadkovich with the intercept. Pepper prods it forward, touched by Brockie. Franny Jeffers making the run. Carol Kissel, who turns 35 next month. He will, in all likelihood, retire from the game at the end of the season. Wants to go out a winner. Which is, of course, how he ended his first stint with the Sky Blues. Heavy challenge from Zadkovich, but play on, says Matthew Gillette. Well, Kissel stopped, but in fairness to the referee, he did try and let play go to give Sydney FC the advantage, which Kissel initially had, unless you saw it differently, Roots.
I'm with you on that one, Simon.
Elridge. Too deep for Ryan Griffiths. Goal kick. Vida Schleivlewitska. Well, like Carol Kissel, want to go out a winner with Sydney FC. I don't know about you, Roots, but I did detect a tinge of disappointment in the announcement this week from the Sydney FC Supremo. He was no longer going to be a part of this football club. Makes you wonder whether the decision was mutual.
Both parties have said it's been a mutual decision, so we have to go by their word, I suppose.
I know that's what they've said, Roots.
I think Zadkovich, in his first year's won the double. It's the first time ever a coach has come here and won the double at Sydney FC. Leaves a legacy. 3 years as a coach, longest serving coach at the club as well.
Kissel tracking back by Wheelhouse, and then Thiago Calvano is fouled by Kissel, who's a little bit frustrated, cutting a bit of an angry figure at the moment, the Slovakian.
See Thiago there, he's lifted his elbow. We've seen that a few times this year. Using all his experience, Kissel judged to a foul. Thiago on that occasion.
Franny Jeffers to nowhere in particular.
You can see what Jeffers was trying to do. He's expecting young Regan to move into the space and take that pass on.
Just not really found their rhythm yet, Newcastle. Pegged back for Sydney FC's bright start. They've got a bit of room here, though, through Franny Jeffers, and now Ryan Griffiths. Across the face, but nobody on hand for the Jets. Maybe Griffiths is questioning as to why. Chested down by Topor-Stanley. Zadkovich giving it to Taylor Regan. Thiago. Griffiths. Newcastle happy to have a bit of possession, or at least they were, till Jacob Pepper showed far too much of it to Kazarine. Maybe a little bit fortunate to get the free kick. Here's Griffiths. Wheelhouse. Into the hole for Franny Jeffers, who hangs it up for Tarek Elridge. Beauchamp stooping to conquer and almost had his head taken off by Ryan Griffiths. Just a few signs, Roots, that Newcastle slowly started to play their way into the game.
Yeah, they certainly are. I think it's going to be an interesting battle here as well. Ryan Grant's got Jamison Love to go forward, and we've seen that already in the first 10 minutes of this game. What that allows, what happens there is that Newcastle then is allowed a lot of spacing behind the Sydney FC defence line. Most of the time, Beauchamp and Beauchamp are just there by themselves on their own. Sometimes you see just the one fullback going forward. So far, we've seen both those fullbacks at Sydney FC get into those attacking positions. Newcastle leaving their three men forward as well. If they can get the ball quick enough to their forward line, it's going to cause Sydney FC all sorts of problems.
Well, it's often quoted as well, Roots, that Sydney lack a bit of pace at the back. Is that a fair comment? Maybe that's also what the Jets are trying to exploit.
Well, it's a fair comment, especially with Beauchamp and Beauchamp, but what they do give you is a lot of knowledge and experience as well, and you just can't buy that.
Now McFlynn has robbed the Jets of possession in midfield. Again, the final ball goes astray for Sydney. Had a few of those.
A good opportunity that time as well. McFlynn taking that ball forward. Two options too, Mark Bridge and Kazarine were on.
Topor-Stanley stretching to keep the ball in play, which he did. Zadkovich driven back by the relentless pursuit of Ryan Grant, who continues the run forward. Kennedy unfazed. This is Regan. Goes long, looking for Brockie. Easy tidy-up job for Bosgaard. Greatest clearance by Reddy. Or was he aiming for McFlynn? Perhaps he was. Found it smart, nonetheless. Carl spreads it wide for Bridge. Kazarine waits in the centre. Out it goes for Jamison. Back out by Topor-Stanley. Jamison finds the angle again. Thiago's clearance. Back with Jamison for a third time. This time he'll perhaps have a run at Taylor Regan. Comes off the top of Thiago's head. The angle was never really there for the delivery, or the right sort of delivery for Sydney FC.
He had 3 or 4 chances on that occasion, Simon. Scott Jamison got himself in that forward position again. Kazarine and Mark Bridge, good movement up there as well in the penalty box. He's got to work on that distribution, Jamison. Not going to be an easy day either for Kazarine and Bridge, especially if they're going to rely on crosses from those wide areas. Thiago and Nikolai Topor-Stanley and Regan as well. Solid, very solidly built defenders. That man there in particular, one of the best headers of a ball in the competition.
Help him!
Really, as you pointed out, they'll probably be looking, Sydney FC, to the fullbacks to provide the natural width. Neither Moriyasu nor Kissel natural wide players. Jeffers quickly closed down by Carl. It's an afternoon of real significance in terms of the race for the finals here at the SFS today. Sydney 6th at the start of the weekend, Newcastle 7th. And here's Franny Jeffers, who nips in ahead of Michael Beauchamp. Good recovery by the big central defender. Is Jeffers appealing for the corner or the foul? Or both?
Bit of both, I think. As you mentioned, good work by Beauchamp anyway. Stood his ground, caught an eye of the ball, threw his foot in there and won it nicely.
Carl, that's a beautiful delivery into the path of Mark Bridge in the shaded area. Great ball in by Bridge, and Kissel, and it was just a metre or two beyond the midfielder.
Well, that's better from Sydney anyway in terms of crosses, and it took a striker in Mark Bridge to do so. 2 players to aim at, Kissel and Kazarine, and Kissel just wasn't quick enough to get there.
Now attention switches to the other end, and Tarek Elrich, who threads it through for Franny Jeffers. Great chance! And he's dragged his shot wide, the Englishman. Newcastle Jets' first real clear sight of Liam Reddy's goal.
Well, he's come from nothing, really. There's that man there, Tarek Elrich. A lot of pace about him. It's on the inside of Grant. Nice little run there by Jeffers, timed it well. Just skips by Boschart. Puts it wide of the post. Reddy was beaten.
Well, he's only scored once since returning to the Newcastle Jets. What a golden opportunity that was to give Gary Van Egmont's side the lead.
Well, he's a key as well. Franny Jeffers in this match.
Now, ball stays in play. Moriyasu again, it's not a great delivery. Easily gobbled up by the Jets' defence.
If Jeffers can get himself, and he's smart enough to do so as well, in between the lines there, the midfield and the forward line, it's good enough to then run at players and make those little runs in behind as well, those angle runs in behind the defence. He's also good at linking play up too. A little give and go in the 1-2s, the likes of Brockie and Griffiths.
This is Griffiths. Finds the room to feed Jeffers. Pepper in field for Wheelhouse. Topor-Stanley joining in with the attack. Elridge backtracking. Now they hit Jeremy Brockie early, and he's got beyond Kissel. He's onside too, but he can't find the delivery. Disappointing for the Newcastle Jets. Let's go down and get the thoughts of Mark Bosnich, who's watching on the sideline. Bozza.
Yeah, Simon, we spoke before the game about Newcastle's adaptability, and today Mark Rudin was just speaking about the reliance on the crosses, especially for Kazarine, from the two fullbacks, Grant, and on the other side, Scott Jamieson. They are being pushed back by sometimes Newcastle leaving 4 players up front. Ryan Griffiths on the right-hand side, on the left-hand side, Tariq Elridge are in such advanced positions that basically they're playing with a 4 up front, if you include Jeffers, who's just in behind. The 2 fullbacks from Sydney, if they're going to get beyond, have to take a gamble and get beyond their midfield players and rely on their fitness to get back if they're going to create anything from the wide areas.
Thanks, Bozza. He is the tactical tinkerman, is Gary Van Egmond. Are they the right tactics, Rudes, in your opinion?
That was a good call. I thought Bozzy was spot on there as well. Both these two teams need to win the match. They both need the 3 points, so it's going to be a matter of who's braver, who's the team that's going to really go for it and go for the win. Both teams need the win as well.
Is that a handball by Franny Jeffers? If it was, it wasn't spotted. Or, of course, not deemed to be intentional. And the law book does state it has to be intentional. Law 12, if you're interested. Here's the corner, whips in with pace. Well, that's a great stop from Reddy. Topor-Stanley with the follow-up. Newcastle have scored. Nikolai Topor-Stanley against his old club. Well, Liam Reddy is a bit unlucky because he pulled off a simply magnificent point-blank stop, but it rebounded straight into the path of Nikolai Topor-Stanley, who pounds for just his 3rd A-League goal.
Well, there you can see Moriyasu on the far post. He's come inside. A fantastic first-time effort by Liam Reddy. Down to his left, Nikolai Topor-Stanley first to get to that ball. Tiago Moriyasu again looking around. And here's the man that was on that far post as well. He's got to put his hand up. Can understand the reason why he went to this centrally to try and protect the goalmouth. And those fans there are happy. Sydney FC again have let go and have conceded first in the game.
For the 13th occasion this season, Sydney FC fall behind. The good news for Sky Blues fans, if there is any, is that they've lost just 5 of the previous 12. Not the start Vitislav Levitsko wanted, that's for sure. They had their opportunities before that goal to take the lead, but their final delivery has been somewhat awry, and they've been punished for it.
Newcastle slightly got themselves back into this match as well. And from a set piece, they find the lead. Nikolai Topor-Stanley, is fantastic reaction.
Now away goes Ruben Zadkovich. That's certainly livened the contest up. And Terry McFlynn's going to cop a yellow card for that tackle, which is his 8th of the season, and puts him on the brink of another ban. He's already had 1 this season. I think he feels it was a bit harsh. What's your take, Rude?
Well, 8 yellow cards this season. You can understand why he thinks it's harsh, but well and truly was beaten there. Left his leg hanging. It's a yellow card in my book.
Topor-Stanley with the free kick. Helped on towards Brockie by Griffiths. All of a sudden, Newcastle, after a slow start, are in the ascendancy. And here's Joe Boylehouse, looking for his 3rd goal in 3 games. Zadkovich for Elridge. He's got a bit of confidence now, stroking the ball around before Jeffers has it taken away from him by Carl. Zadkovich is offside. Just a correction. It appears that Terry McFlynn will now be suspended. I got the maths wrong. 8 yellows equals a second suspension. So Terry McFlynn will miss the home game with Perth. So no wonder he was frustrated with the decision.
Well, I think it's been on 7 yellow cards the last 2 or 3 weeks, so it's been hanging by a thread.
Griffiths. Topor-Stanley. Zadkovich. Wheelhouse. Pepper. Suddenly given straight back to Newcastle in the shape of Francis Jeffers. Regan. Jets in confident mood now. Stroking the ball around with real aplomb, but Brockie just went a fraction too early.
It was unlucky, Brockie, as well. Good play by Newcastle. Some nice touches together. Good movement as well off the ball. You see there was Regan, of all players, got himself in that midfield position. Brockie just off making a run off the back of Beauchamp.
Nearly 26 minutes played. Sydney FC behind again at home. The venue where they've only won twice this season, both against the Gold Coast. There's the goal scorer. Boscarts. Beauchamp. McFlynn. Jamison. Good first touch by Scott Jamison. But his right foot is not the stronger of the two.
Such a play by Terry McFlynn. Jamison, who's made that run, left-hand side, was able to cut inside of Taylor Regan. His non-preferred right foot, couldn't hit the target. Good first touch on the left by Jamison, a good forward run too.
Told us before the game, Scott Jamison, he's eager to secure a new contract. It's been a real up and down spell for him since joining Sydney from Adelaide United. At one stage of his career, he was perhaps seen as the natural successor to Scott Chipperfield with the national team, but it really hasn't worked out that way, at least not yet. Elrich offside.
Well, when he came over to the club last year, Sydney FC, they played him in a more advanced role in left midfield. He said he liked to play that position. He'd play anywhere for the team. It just didn't suit him. He's a natural left back. I think he needs to work more on his defensive duties if he really wants to have another go at playing for the Socceroos.
Now Bridge will chance his arm from a long way out with perhaps predictable results. Mark Bridges, perhaps another whose career really hasn't kicked on, arrived amidst a blaze of publicity. Stuart Michalek, who of course is out with injury at the Mariners at the moment. Here's Zadkovich looking to make it two. It is a beautiful finish by Ruben Zadkovich, who also scores against his old club and then goes to tell the Cove exactly what they're missing. 2-0 Newcastle, and what a goal.
Well, what a start for the Jets. It's Ruben Zadkovich, the ex-Sydney FC player, as you mentioned. Have a look at his run. He starts it from halfway. Diagonal ball, Elrich lays it into the path of Zadkovich. First time his left peg, past Liam Reddy. That's a wonderful half volley by Zadkovich.
Well, that's a finish as good as you will see anywhere. His first goal in over 12 months. That's what it means to the Newcastle bench. Gary Van Egmond more subdued than the rest of his colleagues, but it certainly meant an awful lot to Ruben Zadkovich. Isn't it strange, the stories that football can throw up? You'd have been a rich man if you'd had a bet on Topor-Stanley and Ruben Zadkovich, two ex-Sydney FC players, scoring in the opening half an hour here.
Well, how often do we see it, someone, not just here in Australia, but in world football, when you play against...
Now a chance for Mark Bridge to score against his old club, and Ben Kennedy ensures that the scoreline remains 2-0.
Yeah, well done, Kennedy. Stayed upright and threw his right hand out as well. Mark Bridge really should have done better with that opportunity. He's ruining this miss. Just gets in front of Tyler Regan. He's claims for a penalty there as well. Why Mark Bridge was shaking his head. But Topor-Stanley and Zadkovich, two ex-Sydney FC players, teammates, best buddies as well. Probably spoke to each other on their way to the game as they approached the football stadium in a bus. Had a quick chat with them. They were looking forward to a big game. I don't think anybody expecting them to be in the score sheet, though, especially not Nikolai Topor-Stanley.
Well, Newcastle sitting pretty here. They weathered the early Sydney storm. Zadkovich now being roundly booed by the Cove. Well, perhaps in a strange sort of away route, it might just fire Sydney FC up.
Well, it certainly fires Zadkovich up. Knowing his sort of character, he'll be loving this sort of attention. Good or bad, he's one that thrives on it.
Well, I think he's going to cop that for the rest of the game. Ruben Zadkovich, after his over-the-top goal celebration, at least that's the way the Cove will see it. Grant barging into Topor-Stanley. Carl gets the return ball from Kissel. Beautiful balance from Nick Carl. Chance here. And in the end, he just prodded it towards goal, futsal style. Wasn't going to trouble Kennedy.
The old toe poke from Nicky Carl. Played indoor football as well as a young kid. He's very good at it too. It's the first time we've seen Nicky Carl get into that sort of area.
Newcastle Jets, 798 days without a win against Sydney FC. And surely they'll never have a better chance of ending that unwanted record than today. In fairness though, Roots, Sydney FC have proved to be the comeback kings this season. They've got plenty of character, they're going to need to show it. Otherwise, they're going to be out of the final spots today.
A long way to go in this match, 60-odd minutes. They need to push themselves up though. When they defend, they really defend deeply. Newcastle Jets fans there are loving this at the moment.
Happy memories of this stadium, of course. Back in 2008, they fairly filled that end of the stadium as they took the championship out. They get back in the top six, they'll be dreaming of a repeat performance, perhaps. A long way to go before that happens. McFlynn trying to pierce the Jets' defence. Struck the hand of Elridge. Throw in for Sydney FC. You can just tell on the face of Gary Van Egmond, his mind is just a blur of what is unfolding before him. Trying to think a couple of steps ahead of the other coach. He's done pretty well so far. This is Kissel. Through. Grant. Good interception by Topor-Stanley. He's near the top of the A-League statistics, that particular ledger. Now Mark Bridge has got a problem.
It's a tackle here by Regan earlier on.
Well, this was the shout for a penalty, wasn't it? He certainly caught Bridge, and he went over on that ankle as well.
Well, first of all, there certainly were claims there, because Tyler Regan mistimed his challenge and his tackle. Mark Bridge, in all honesty, should have done a lot better with that opportunity. Nonetheless, Tyler Regan looks as though he's caught him well and truly on the ankle. Looks as though he's going to go off as well.
Yep, it's going to be an early change for Sydney FC. Mark Bridge will play no further part. And perhaps an unexpected opportunity for the Finn Juho Mäkelä. He's coming off contract at the end of the season, and as you said, Roods, he's been told he's free to leave. And credit to him, he's showed true professionalism. He has refused to give up the ghost here at the SFS, despite all the evidence pointing to the contrary. Said all along he wants to stay and play his part, and of course he did score against Newcastle earlier on in the season at Osgrid Stadium, so a big chance for him.
Yeah, certainly is a big chance for him. Like you said, great character. The ability to just keep working hard and put his head down, even though that message did come across. Well, he was told that he can look for a new club. Not ever easy for a player when they're given that sort of bad news. Mäkelä, credit to him, he finds himself on the bench and now enters the game in around the 36-minute mark.
Topor-Stanley. Topor-Stanley will work it out to Elrich. Mäkelä still awaiting the ball to go out of play so he can get his chance. Elrich clips it in. Cleared by Beauchamp. The boos for Zadkovich. Jeffers. Elrich promising again for Newcastle. 3-0. Jeremy Brockie, and it's a hat-trick of former Sydney FC players on the score sheet. It's a fairy story for the Newcastle Jets.
Well, would you believe it? 3 ex-Sydney FC players in the first half of this football game get themselves on the goal scoring sheet. And Svenny Jeffers there gets behind 2 players. Elrich again the provider, this time with his left foot. And what a ball it was too by Elrich. And behind 2 Sydney FC defenders, right onto the head of Jeremy Brockie and past the outstretched hands of Liam Reddy. 3-0 to Newcastle Jets.
Well, he couldn't miss, could he, Jeremy Brockie? And he didn't. 7th of the season, and even Gary van Egmond permits himself a punch of the air. He knows that the job is surely almost done. It's a long way back now for Sydney FC. They have collapsed routes.
Well, it's full credit the man there, Levichka. And you just imagine what's going through his head now as half-time beckons. And he's going to be saying to his players as well. The full credit to Gary van Egmond. The tactical battle has been won in the first half anyway, playing 3 at the back. They've manned up in midfield.
Here's Jamison. Sydney need a goal to give their fans some hope. It's too far for Mäkelä.
Well, not that way anyway. Jamison again in that far left area, advanced, and just too much in that cross for Mäkelä. But Dutchy, as they call him, Van Egmond, he's put an extra player in the midfield. And the Sydney FC midfielders really don't know where to run. Svenny Jeffers too. He's been finding a lot of room in behind. Terry McFlynn and Griffiths and Elrich have had with a lot of pace, and have had a lot of joy against Grant and Jamison going forward.
Well, Thiago Calvano caught by McKellar. And the Finns' first real involvement in this game involves a stern talking to from the referee. But no card for the man they call the surgeon. Let's be honest, Sydney FC need a surgeon to get back in this game. It's going to be quite an operation to turn it around from this position. Here goes Brockie again. Ryan Grant just got back in the nick of time. And Sydney, after that bright start, have simply gone AWOL. Griffiths gets the free kick. Maybe should have been advantage played. Well, if you're Vitoslav Levitska, Roots, how do you turn this around? What do you say to the players at the break?
Well, they need to concentrate on getting the first goal, that's for sure. How do you get that first goal? I'd imagine that would be...
They might be chasing 4 goals here in a minute. Matthew Gillett brings them back. Free kick.
Look back to the European Champions League final, I suppose. AC Milan, Liverpool, 3-0 down they were, Liverpool, at half-time. Anything is possible in this wonderful game of ours, that's for sure.
To go before the break. Liam Reddy dare not concede a 4th, that's for sure. Griffiths floats it in, and there's a bit of holding there from Topor-Stanley, so they survived that particular onslaught, Sydney. Well, the Newcastle fans can scarcely believe it. They're in absolute heaven here at the home of one of their nearest neighbours. Haven't recorded back-to-back wins in the A-League, Newcastle, since January 2011. So this could really kick-start their season.
And takes them 1 point ahead of Sydney FC as well, into that top 6 position, more importantly for Newcastle. And it's all about momentum heading into the finals.
Zadkovich punts it forward, controlled by Brockie. Now Jeffers. Elridge, who's been instrumental in giving or helping to give the Newcastle Jets this healthy advantage.
All 3 goals have come from Sydney FC's right-hand side, albeit the first one came from a corner. And the next 2 balls delivered into that left corridor, where Ryan Grant is playing for Sydney. And Eldridge, as you said, he's been the architect of both those 2 goals.
McKellar coming back from an offside position. All the talk pre-game, Roots, from Gary Van Egmond at least, was how the departure of Levitska, or at least the announcement of it, might just galvanise Sydney FC. So perhaps that formed part of his team talk. And he's had all the answers, hasn't he, the Jets coach?
Maybe a bit of reverse psychology as well by Gary, who knows? Games aren't just won on a football pitch, they're won in the mind. And Gary Van Egmond loves to play mind games every now and again. Not to say that he's not an honest person, not at all.
All the great coaches play mind games, don't they?
Of course they do.
This is McKellar. Jamison. Carl. Goal before the break might just give Sydney some hope. This is Nicky Carl. Attempted 1-2 with McKellar, but the touch is way too heavy from the Finn.
down to being rusty and no game time lately. And so lately, it's been a long time since he last saw game time for Sydney FC at this level. It's going to be a tough ask though in the second half. They won't give up, that's for sure, Sydney FC. Just as important for Newcastle Jets is that they come out firing those first 10 to 15 minutes too.
It's not really as if Levichka has a lot of experience to call on the bench either, with McKellar already on the park. Kissel won't get to that one, rather Moriyasu. Only two inexperienced youngsters left, Kianese and Nathan Sherlock. They're missing Brett Emerton, of course they are, Roots. He's the sort of leadership perhaps the Sky Blues need today.
Yeah, look, he's one big player. But again, the players should know that without Brett Emerton in the side, there's enough leaders in there who should pick up this match when things aren't going well. Players like Nicky Carl and Beauchamp and Beauchamp, Liam Reddy, Terry McFlynn, the captain as well.
You just wonder, Roots, you just wonder, given that Emerton said he was fit to play if it was absolutely necessary, whether it might have been a good idea just to have Emerton on the bench, just in case.
Well, it's a tough one for any manager out there. You give them a rest for a reason, because they're going into a game with a slight injury. I think they've done the right thing by Brett Emerton and by the club as well. It's not just about today. There's still a lot of games to go before the final series.
Let's see what Sydney FC can come up with here. Last minute of the first half. Teed up for Nick Carl. Well wide of the target. Without a goal in 9 games, Nicky Carl. And we've got plenty of abuse too from the Jets fans, the supporters that used to cheer him. Plenty of targets on both sides today.
It's been very quiet.
A bit of history.
Well, there certainly is. And he's been very quiet. He's not the only one in the first half for Sydney FC. Moriyasu started brightly, but he's been non-existent, really. Kissel as well. Some nice runs forward. It's just been pinned back by the forward thrust and forward movement of these Newcastle Jets players, especially their back three. Topor-Stanley, Thiago and Regan, who are quite comfortable on the ball and they're happy to play out from the back too.
Well, we've heard about a game of 2 halves. That was perhaps a half of 2 halves. The first 20 minutes, Sydney FC in control, but then Newcastle really took off. Nikolai Topor-Stanley, Ruben Zadkovich and Jeremy Brockie, 3 former Sydney FC players, all on the score sheet. Mark Bridgeoff with injury as well. It literally could not get any worse for Sydney FC. At the interval at the SFS, Sydney FC 0, Newcastle Jets 3 is the scoreline. And stick around, we've got the thoughts of Mark Bosnich coming up in a few short moments. He's with Adam Peacock for the half-time show. See you shortly.
Welcome back to the Sydney Football Stadium. You'd imagine that is a pretty happy place to be right now. Newcastle Jets have made the 2-hour journey south yesterday, stayed in the hotel down in Sydney, woken up, come out to the Sydney Football Stadium and so far have embarrassed this mob. And Zelko Kalach, the assistant coach of Sydney FC, is just letting them know all about it right now. The home side in a big, big hole. Mark Bosnich here for the halftime show. Bosnich, we'll start with Sydney FC. They are the home side. We'll get to Newcastle and what they brought to the table this afternoon. But Sydney FC, what have you made of them?
Poor. Call it whatever you like. Poor, pathetic. I said before the game, and I said all this week, like I said, the press conference they did announcing Vidislav's resignation was lovely done and all that, but I warned against it. I just don't believe that it should be done. We're still a third of the season to play. We saw yesterday a different reaction. I wanted to see what the reaction was to today. They had a decent start, Sydney, but once they went a goal down, they all looked nonplussed. And I just can't help but think to myself, when you're 3-0 down and your manager, you know, is leaving at the end of the season, if he goes mentally at half-time time, you can turn around and say, well, it doesn't really matter, pal. You're not here at the end of the year, next year. I can't really see the logic behind it. But let's get on to the football. Newcastle, after a bit of a dicey start, because Sydney being the home team put the pressure on them, were absolutely outstanding.
I know you don't like stats, Boss, but what about that one? Away from home, 63% of the pill at their feet. Newcastle, this was the first goal, as Simon mentioned, and Rude's all 3 goals to former Sydney FC players, just sticking the knife in, if you like, for the Cove. But Topor-Stanley, the far post, what happened?
Well, this is all about the delivery. Superb delivery in. Great save by Liam Reddy, and Topor-Stanley's the first to react to the second ball. I feel a little bit sorry for Moriyasu. He came in trying to cover Liam Reddy. If you really want to be harsh, you would have thought he could have made a little bit of a better effort, but that was all about the delivery and the desire of the Newcastle player to get in front of the Sydney player to get that first header in. And again, the desire of Topor-Stanley to win that second ball, first one to react.
A lot of the play was down this flank. Tarek Elrich was having a field day. The second goal came from Ruben Zadkovich, though, endearing himself further to the Sydney FC fans, but they were stretching them out beautifully, as you mentioned, halfway through the half.
Yeah, this was a superb goal. Tarek Elrich has played in more in an advanced position than I've ever seen. They're basically playing, if you include Franny Dreyfus, who's playing just in behind Jeremy Brockie, you're basically playing 4 up front, and Tarek Elrich's job is basically to be an outside left winger. And one of the reasons they're doing that is for this superb goal by Zadkovich. The other reason is they want to stop Sydney's fullbacks from coming forward. But what Sydney's fullbacks have got to do, they've got to back themselves when they're in possession to go forward and dare Tarek Elrich to run back with you and say, I'm happy to run back with you. This is the third goal. Again, coming down this side, Tarek Elrich on his left foot, superb ball in, and a wonderful finish, headed finish there by Jeremy Brockie.
So how does Sydney try and counteract this in the second half and get back into this somehow, in terms of, you'd imagine Newcastle are going to keep going the way they're going. How does Sydney try and counteract that tactically?
Well, first and foremost, is what I just said. One of the keys to Sydney's plays with this narrow midfield, especially now with Michaela on as well, they're going to rely on crosses, on aerial balls in for these two, right? So they're not just going to be lumping it straight from the back, right? So they've got to get their fullbacks forward. The two fullbacks, when they're in possession, they've got to say, I don't care that Tarek Elrich is on me, Ryan Grant. I don't care that Ryan Griffiths is on me, Scott Jamieson. When we're in possession, we're going to go forward. It's up to them to track back with us. If we lose it, we're going to do the hard work and we're going to track back. The other thing is, well, they've got to get Boschgaard on the ball. Newcastle are making it very difficult for the good distributors of the Sydney side to get on the ball. People like Boschgaard, people like Nicky Carl, they've got to work their socks off to make themselves time and space to get on the ball to start creating damage, or else this is going to be a bit of a massacre.
Have a look at some of the chances, and to be fair, Sydney had a couple early on and they were getting the ball in from wide areas. They just couldn't do much about it. But then they just got overrun.
Well, they did, and it harps back to what I said. They started off very well, and could have easily had a goal or even a goal or two. However, they go down from the free kick, and once again the heads drop. Now, if I'm the manager on the bench, I want to be screaming at my players, and that was a great chance for Newcastle. For Franny Jeffers, should have put it away. If I'm going a goal down at home, they've only won 2 games here at home, right? And I'm on the bench, and I'm the manager, and I'm screaming at my players, doing everything I possibly can to get a reaction out of them. It's just human nature. If I look around at my manager, I say, we're not going to be here next year, pal. Yeah. You know, I spoke about at the beginning about players' personal pride, and a lot of players should start thinking to themselves now, regardless of whether or not Vidislav Levic is going to be here next year, I've got to start to put the performance in if I want to remain at this club. And I would make them aware of that at half-time.
Mark Bridge there injured his ankle. No further part to play, or about a couple of minutes after that, but he was gone. Having a look at the stats, Newcastle dominated one area in particular, i.e. possession. Ball's in the penalty area. Sydney have got it in there. It's just on occasions no one's been there. The ball has gone straight across the box. So something to think about and sort out amongst many, many things to sort out for Sydney FC after the break. Tomorrow we're off out west, NIB Stadium, thanks to the Rod Stewart concert last night in Perth. They've had to put this one on Monday night. We'll be there. Fox Sports cameras, Perth Glory up against Gold Coast United. Looking forward to that one. Bozza, thanks very much for your comments. Looking forward to your post-game analysis as well, and comments in the second half. No worries. We're off to a break. Second half from Sydney FC and Newcastle Jets coming right up. Welcome Welcome back to the Sydney Football Stadium. Well, if Harry Kewell described last Wednesday's effort by Melbourne victory as disgusting, I wonder how some of the Sydney FC fans and players are thinking and feeling about the performance of their side in the first half. Conversely, the flip side, the antithesis, whatever you want to call it, Newcastle Jets at the moment absolutely flying, 3-0 in front. It's gone from bad to worse for Sydney FC at home this afternoon. Having a look at the odds thanks to TAB Sportsbet. As you'd expect, Sydney FC, despised outsiders, 25-1 the three-horse race, 10-1 the draw, and Newcastle Jets at $1.03. Now, don't forget our social media aspects here at Fox Sports. We're on Facebook and also Twitter, hashtag Fox Football to get involved in the conversation and vent away. If you're a Sydney FC fan, let us know exactly how you're feeling. And Newcastle, you can tell how happy you're feeling as well. Tell us that. We're off for the second half now. Play is about to get underway. Let's go back to our commentators, Mark Rudin and Simon Hill.
Thanks very much indeed, Adam. Good work at half-time, along with Mr. Bosnich. We're all set for the second half, and what a big second half it is for Sydney FC. Even if they can't win this game, they have to put in a performance that gives their fans some hope, a bit of pride in their jersey. We've been trying to rack our brains to think of the last team to come from 3 goals down in an A-League or NSL match. Rudes, you pointed out that famously in the grand final of 2000, Wollongong and Perth, it happened on that occasion.
It certainly did. Wollongong came from behind. It was an almighty win on penalties as well for Wollongong.
Slightly different occasion today, though, says McKellar. Many happy returns to the SFS for Messrs Topor-Stanley and Zadkovich and Brockie. Long odds on those 3 scoring today against their former club. Wonder what money you'd get on Michael Bridges coming off the bench and adding another one.
He's not the only one. We've got Bjorn on the bench as well.
Bjorn too.
And just imagine the reserve goalkeeper, Nash. Matthew Nash comes on.
Now we're stretching it. Here's McFlynn. Looking to pick out Kazarine. Moriyasu. Back heel for Jamison. He's got around the outside of Ryan Griffiths. Can he find the delivery? It wasn't a bad ball, but nobody able to get on the end of it for Sydney FC.
A lot of bodies behind for the Jets on that occasion. Scott Jamison done well down the left-hand side to get past his opponent. And again, he was looking for runners. The only free one was Mark Keller on the back post. Nicky Carl was marked, as was Kazarine.
Terry McFlynn. Grant infield for Kissel. Headed off by Elridge. It breaks for Nicky Carl. Now Moriyasu with a chance perhaps to unleash. Hirofumi Moriyasu! They have started the journey, Sydney FC. 3-1 at the SFS.
Well, that's the reaction they wanted. In the opening minutes of the second half, it's Moriyasu comes up with the goods. Nicky Carl on the ball. Moriyasu alone gets the better of Regan and just strikes that in the far corner. Down to Kennedy's left as well. They've got one back now. 2 to go.
Well, on his second A-League goal, Hirofumi Moriyasu, and both of them have come against Newcastle. Well, perhaps the half-time team talk, whatever it was, has worked for the Sky Blues. He's not really a teacup thrower, you wouldn't imagine, Peter Schlavlovitska, but you'd imagine a few strong words were exchanged.
Well, if they were, it wouldn't have come from Levitschka either. I'd imagine it would have come from Zelko Kalats, one of the assistant coaches and goalkeeper coach. In any case, it's worked. You can see Terry McFlynn asking his players to drive and push on to the Newcastle defenders.
Well, Sydney have hope. And we've got a game on again at the Sydney Football Stadium. Boscart a little late on Brockie. I think the contact was accidental, but Brockie certainly felt it.
Boscart not going to pull out of a challenge, is he? They're both going for the ball. Brockie has actually won that ball on that occasion.
Well, Newcastle Jets comfortable going into the break. Now rocked back on their heels somewhat and being asked a couple of questions by Sydney FC. After they really fell asleep to concede 3 goals in the first half against a rampant Newcastle. This is Elridge. Chipped in towards Brockie, but too high. There's a bit of a spring in the step of Sydney FC, but they've given it away to Pepper. Brockie then gives it straight to Grant. Flipped on by Kazarine. Here's Moriyasu, the Sydney goal scorer. Back for Jamison. Can't have his body in the right position to deliver the perfect cross there, but Sydney still have it. Carl losing out in the aerial challenge, outside of the boot by Wheelhouse. Elridge, did that ball cross the line? Grant certainly thought it did. This is Brockie. Chance here for Newcastle, perhaps. Back for Pepper. Spread wide by Wheelhouse for Zadkovich. A couple of step overs to try and shake off Kissel. Elridge, good football by Newcastle. Now Franny Jeffers. Chance to measure the shots, but it's off target.
Such a smart player. Franny Jeffers on that occasion just stepped off his immediate defender, Beauchamp. Found himself some space and room.
Good response, though, by the Jets after Sydney scored that goal after just 2 minutes of the second half, Roots.
Well, Sydney FC have to be careful as well. They're pushing Kissel and Moriyasu in a more advanced position when they have got possession of the ball. It's when they lose it that it becomes a problem. The Jets can counter-attack quick enough. They do have bodies.
This is Kissel. Carl trying to probe through was caught. Michaela might just have been caught there, but just went to ground as he stretched for the ball. No contact with the defender. Ben Kennedy's going to get plenty of stick from those Sydney FC fans in the cove behind him in this second half, as they try and engineer what would be a rather unlikely comeback. Kissel. Inside is Ryan Grant. It's good football by Sydney. Carl unable to find McKellar, though, and a bit loose from Newcastle. Picked up by Taylor Regan, who's got to be careful. Giving it back to Kennedy with Kazarine waiting to pounce. Good pressure by Sydney. Kazarine nips in ahead of Regan. And then he's brought to ground, the Brazilian. Free kick Sydney FC. Might even be a card for Taylor Regan as well. It is. Looked fair enough too, Roots. Oh, did he get the ball?
I thought initially when I saw it as well, he got the ball. He's taken Kazarine with him as well. That's what the referee saw.
Yellow for Regan. Free kick for Sydney, the Cove in full voice. Game on at the SFS. No Brett Emerton to take the set piece, of course. Regan's got a problem. So the free kick might be delayed a second or two.
He's a tough young man, Tyler Regan. Go down for no reason. He's pointing to his knee there.
Well, you're right, Roods. He is a tough cookie. Played a lot of rugby league as a junior, and I think he actually fancied his chances of being a pro in that particular game. His talents were obviously more suited to football. He's been rewarded with a new contract this week, but he has conceded the free kick, which gives Sydney FC a chance of building on Hirofumi Moriyasu's goal. Carol Kissel has had plenty of time to think about this. Chipped in by the Slovakian, partly away. Jamison didn't really catch it, appeals for handball. Shake of the head from Matthew Gillette. Sydney building up a head of steam here. In towards Kazarine. Tried to volley it, it breaks here for Carl. Trying to find the angle to curl it. And that's a goal kick. Well, what a good response it's been from Sydney FC in the second half.
And it certainly has been. Well, Sydney, an opportunity as well for Nick Carl. Just a confidence thing now for Nicky. Hasn't scored for a while. Start of the season, looks like a house on fire. We look back at Sydney's first goal, Moriyasu. It's a reaction they wanted. It's a reaction the coaches wanted and the fans.
Also an excellent finish from Hirofumi Moriyasu. Probably suited the right footer. Cutting inside. And he still had a lot to do. Sydney building from the back through Michael Beauchamp. Grants for McKellar. Carl. 1-2 with Kissel. It's being shadowed by Wheelhouse. Still gets it out for Jamison. That's behind Moriyasu, but Carl nips in and wins it back, and then again exchanges passes with Kissel. Again appeals for handball. Matthew Gillette says that struck the chest of Thiago Calvano. Howls of protest from the Sydney FC fans, but perhaps key, not necessarily from the players. McFlynn. Well, you can't take their eyes off this one at the moment. This is Carol Kissel. Looking to attack Regan. Carl was always stretching. Another chance for Kissel. Thiago Calvano with a clearing header. Hook clear by Griffiths, only as far as Grant. Sydney FC camped in the Newcastle half at the moment. McFlynn swings it in. It's not a great delivery. That's a goal kick. And we're going to go down to hear the thoughts of Mark Bosnich. Bozza.
Yes, Simon, we spoke at half-time about Tariq Elrich and Ryan Griffiths pushing Sydney's two fullbacks back. What Sydney have done in this half, they've been that diamond, they've pushed Moriyasu and they've pushed Carol Kissel up further, taking one man from Newcastle's midfield back to cover him at the back, which is forcing Ryan Griffiths and Tariq Elrich to drop back so they can release one side of their fullbacks. Another thing as well, they've started this half at such better tempo, they've shown some desire. It's just a shame it's taken them 45 minutes and to concede 3 goals to do so.
Has been the story of their season. Thanks, Bozza. Why is it, Roots, that they start so sluggishly? We've asked the question plenty of times before. Maybe just wait and see how this develops through McKellar. Grant for Kissel. it's going to be a corner. The stage is yours, Roots.
Well, it's a tough one. It's a mental thing as well. It's one of those paralysis analysis type situations where they always maybe overthink it and over-talk it. And players then start subconsciously thinking about it as well. There's no reason. They should get out there and do their job, understand what their jobs are and do it to the best of their ability.
In swinger from Jamison, it's a dangerous one, and Kennedy did well, but out it comes for Kissel, who couldn't keep his shot down.
What an opportunity for Sydney, what an opportunity for Carol Kissel. He's found himself in that situation a few times before this season. It's a good ball whipped in by Scott Jamison, punched away by Kennedy, who was falling on the floor as well. Kissel's just thrown himself at the ball. Look at Tiago in that handball. Claimed by Sydney FC. Carol Kissel was adamant that it was a handball.
What's your view, Roots? Yes or no?
Well, the interesting thing was he was protecting himself. And he did use his hand to do so. And a tough one, really.
McKellar lays it off for Carl, and away comes Sydney again. Moriyasu. McKellar says thread it through. Here is the Finn. Does he go for goal or cross? Well, he went for the latter. And in all truth, it wasn't a great ball.
We've seen that on a few occasions now from Sydney. They get themselves into those wider areas. And they decide that the cross is the best option. And they've overhit it now on a few occasions.
Well, throughout his career, Juho McKellar, he's been a goal poacher. Not necessarily a great setter-up of opportunities. This is Nick Carl who's going to chance his arm.
It's just not happening for Nick Carl at the moment. To say that he won't see himself on the score sheet here today. It's been a long time between drinks in terms of scoring goals. And he needs to get himself into some good areas as he has been. He's been pulling the trigger, but he needs to just start hitting target first and foremost. There on, anything can happen.
Oh, last 5 minutes, Sydney almost completely in control, according to the possession stats. Newcastle still with a reasonably comfortable lead. Although it's not quite been as cosy for them in the second half. There's Tiago Calvano, who is caught by Carl. Free kick Jets.
Gillette was right in the spot as well, 2 metres away from the incident. See Tiago taking his opponent on. Gets past the first one to get Carl in. See, it does get a piece of the ball. Takes Tiago with him.
Wheelhouse. Now there's a bit of room here for Tarek Elridge. Ryan Grant had pushed forward, beat him across the cover. Jamison's header up in the air doesn't really solve the issue for Sydney. Griffiths had a bit of a lash at it. I think that might have been a shot, you know. And eventually it is Griffiths who's pinged for the infringement. Those sort of spaces are probably going to open up more and more as Sydney FC push forward. Will give Newcastle a chance to kill the game off on the counter. That's young Joel Chianese, who's getting ready for Sydney FC, about perhaps to make his Hyundai A-League debut.
Big raps in the young kid from the Sydney FC staff, that's for sure. A lot of pace. He's able to take his direct opponent on as well. Plays without fear.
Well, even the linesman got cleared up there. I think even he enjoyed it. Well, that's what you call a sturdy challenge. Ruben Zadkovich took the ball, took Grant and the linesman.
Strike.
So here's a big moment for young Joel Chianese. Terry McFlynn, the man to be replaced. 21 years of age, his A-League debut. It's not the first time he's played for the Sky Blues first team. He did come off the bench in the Asian Champions League against Kashima Antlers. That's always a great moment to make your league debut. Do you remember yours, Rude?
Nope.
Black and white, wasn't it?
Thanks, mate.
And it comes for Jamison, who made good progress before Jacob Pepper said enough of that. Corner in front of the Cove.
They're throwing the dice as well, sitting here. Kinese on, a more attacking type player. McFlynn off.
Kissel with the delivery towards the near post. Topor-Stanley nets it firmly. Brockie away to safety, but nothing more for the Jets.
Come up! Get up! Now have a look around you!
Beauchamp. Chipped up towards Kazarine. Important header one there by Thiago Calvano. It's been a good duel, that. Zadkovich caught in possession. Helped out by Topor-Stanley. Now it breaks for Elridge. Bundled over by Beauchamp. Free kick. Michael Beauchamp, who was linked with the Newcastle Jets a month or so ago. Another one of the Sydney FC players off contract at the end of the season. A lot of work to do for the club and the incumbent coach. Now Griffiths trying to go over the top. Took a bit of a joyride on the back of Scott Jamison. Hence the whistle. Quickly taken free kick from Liam Reddy. It's finds its way through for Chianese rather fortuitously, but he's done well, the youngster, and he's still going. Joel Chianese. Only the final ball missing. An exciting run by the youngster. Out it comes for Ryan Grant. Plenty waiting in the middle. Chianese got half a head to it. Might have come off Kissel too.
His first touch of the ball, Chianese. Welcome to the A-League, son. And it's not his debut. He started up extremely well. See that ball there, just in behind those three oncoming runners from Sydney. Wasn't able to pick out a blue shirt on that occasion.
Well, isn't it good, Roots, to see the youngsters getting a run at Sydney FC? It's not always been the case in the past. This is Jamison, the latest to go off on a slalom run. He wants a free kick. Nothing doing, but Ryan Grant steaming forward. Looks to unleash. Well, he's way off target. But Sydney FC giving it a red-hot go here. Jacob Pepper has picked up the yellow card, perhaps for that earlier challenge on Scott Jamison. In which case, we should say well done to the referee for allowing advantage.
Yep, well done. Not just Gillette hits this afternoon, but we've seen it in a lot of games in the A-League. They've played the advantage. And as Michael Bridges looks to come on and change things up for his Jets side.
Well, the Cove will probably be thinking, uh-oh, here's a problem, another ex-Sydney FC player. Franny Jeffers, the man to make way. One experienced English striker for another. And isn't he a class act, Michael Bridges? 9 appearances and 2 goals for Sydney FC back in season 07-08. Told me before the game he's hugely enjoying being back playing. Said he was talked into retirement too early.
Well, you're a long time retired, that's for sure. Michael Bridges looks as though he's going to be playing alongside Jeremy Brockie.
You going to dust off the boots next season then, Reed?
No chance, Simon. That choice was made a long time ago.
There's a whisper you're playing 6-a-side for Fox Sports, though.
Well, I have registered myself, Simon, that's true, but
Big
the first 5 games, well, the first 5 games we get to play.
Here's Chianese with some room again on the left. It's a problem area for the Jets. Chianese And Kennedy sticks out a big paw and denies the youngster a debut goal.
It's the second time Kennedy's done that in this match. There's a right hand in the first half to left hand in the second. Chianese, another great run too. He's positive, fearless. He takes his opponent on as well. Ben Kennedy got a little bit lucky that that ball didn't fall into his own net.
All of a sudden, Roots, youngsters are springing out the system all over the place. Craig Goodwin, who we'd barely heard of last night. What a debut he had for Melbourne Heart. And Joel Chianese giving us a couple of early glimpses of his potential.
There's been a lot of talk about this young kid Chianese here in Sydney. He's not the opportunity really to prove his worth.
Here's Jamison. Perhaps inspired by Chianese's run down that flank. Not a great delivery, in fairness. Moriyasu's header. Kissel, who's taken over the captain's armband since the departure of McFlynn. And he earns a free kick off Michael Bridges. Or was it Thiago? Quickly taken, free kick. Down goes Casarin. Matthew Gillett will bring them back. Smile on the face of the Brazilian. What's your take on this, Root?
Well, I'll go back to Gillett. He's saying that the ball was rolling. You can see Sydney trying to change things up in the second half, taking free kicks quicker, and their throw-ins as well on that occasion. They tried to take a quick free kick. Casarin was fouled. The referee pulled it back, said the ball was rolling.
Well, 20 minutes to go here at the SFS. What an enthralling day it's proved to be. Newcastle with 3 rapid-fire goals in the first half. Sydney not quite finished yet. Jamison's delivery over the head of Beauchamp and away to safety by Topor-Stanley.
Well, 3 blue shirts on that occasion as well. Couldn't pick out any one of them. It was Topor-Stanley. He got his big head in the way. I'll say that in the nicest way possible.
Kissel's ball in. It's a deep one this time. Met by Bridges. Out it comes for Grant. Now Boscart lifts it back into the penalty area. Casarin, no foul. McKellar missed it, but Beauchamp didn't. Incredible. He's got his first A-League goal. And Sydney are right back in this. 3-2. I don't believe it, Roots. I simply don't believe it.
Well, look at this Beauchamp or his teammates or the fans. Oh, they're loving it, that's for sure. It was a ball, it's a cross, as they've done so in the last 5 minutes to Casarin, but pulled Regan away. It was a fantastic header across the face of the goal. Mark Keller missed it, but Michael Beauchamp didn't. 3-2.
His first goal in 147 National League appearances, of which 64 of them have been in the A-League. And Newcastle right back on their heels here. Their lead has been whittled away, and all of a sudden perhaps they're a bit nervous, or maybe Bridges can make them less nervous.
What a turn on Michael Bridges. A bit of Moriyasu then. Only just entered the field as well. Great footwork. He screwed his shot across the face of goal. Take a look at this. Boss shot it is with a cross. As 2 players make that run in. It was Mark Keller to the near post and Beauchamp to the far post. Points someone in the crowd, you dare say, with his celebration baby.
I'll tell you what, something's a bit weird in the A-League at the moment. Seb Ryle, Manny Muscat, Michael Thwaite, and now Michael Beauchamp, all scoring their first goals in about a century.
In the space of a couple of weeks as well. Who'd have thought?
Well, Taylor Regan has not really looked the same player since picking up that yellow card and that knee injury. So Bjorn is on in his stead. And it's going to be a double change by Gary van Egmond, whose side have really lost the initiative here. Tarek Elrich is to be dragged in favour of Ali Abbas.
Well, looks like they're going to a back 4 now. You can see Bjorn in that left back position. Zadkovich has been moved from that midfield area to right back.
Sydney fancy they can go on and get a point, or perhaps even better here. And few people thought we'd be saying that at half-time. What a finale we've got here at the SFS.
It's been a fantastic tactical battle as well between two coaches. A lot of experience and knowledge.
Scott Jamieson, can he get the delivery right from the set piece? Plenty of height and muscle forward for this for Sydney FC. Newcastle trying to hang on. Good flat delivery by Jamieson. It was Bjorn with his first touch with a crucial header. Now the Jets away on the counter. 2 against 2. Nicky Carl scrambling to get back and help. Into the path of Bridges, slightly behind him, which didn't help him. He's taken 2 defenders on, beat the first but not the second. And Carl's cover in the end proved crucial. Well done, Nick Carl. That was a lung-bursting run back.
It certainly was. Can't question his enthusiasm. 60-metre run to get back in defence for his teammates. He saw that there was 2-on-2 and ran his heart out as well to get back. And more importantly now for Newcastle is, what do? I've seen they've changed their formation up a little bit. Jeremy Brockie is now partnering Michael Bridges up front, Ali Abbas on the left-hand side, Griffiths on the right-hand side.
Well, he'll hope the tinkering in the second half works as well as it did at the start of this game, but credit to Sydney FC. In fairness, they had precious little to lose. They had to come out and try and take the game to Newcastle, and boy, haven't they done that. Wheelhouse for the delivery from the corner for Newcastle, flicked on by Topor-Stanley. Out it comes for Bjorn. Thiago Calvano with the chest down. Kissel and Carl tidy up for Sydney. Moriyasu looks to unleash another attack for Sydney FC. It's not a great ball.
I'll tell you what, this is a boxing match, Simon. In the first half there, they were knocked down, Sydney FC, but they got up before the count. In the second half, fighting their way back into the game. And then Levichka has changed things around. He's pushed on his 2 wide midfielders further far forward. It's worked off for him.
It's another good advert for the Hyundai A-League. Good close contest. We didn't think that would be the case at half-time. And Newcastle going in search of what would perhaps be a killer fourth. Reddy managed to keep the ball in play thanks to some pretty impressive acrobatics and an early release too, looking for McKellar. He tries to shrug off Topor-Stanley. Kennedy comes out to claim the ball. Zadkovich. Well, his posturing to the cove seems an awful long time ago, Roots. Newcastle really were flying at that stage. This is Ali Abbas. Dummy by Bridges. Brockie with time to turn and unleash the shot, but never going to trouble Liam Reddy.
And the game's opened up a little bit for Newcastle as well. You can see with Newcastle now having 2 fullbacks, it's allowed the likes of Ali Abbas and Griffiths to really pin back Jamieson and Grant. It's now become a midfield battle.
Well, here's the third and final change for Sydney FC. Hirofumi Moriyasu has done his hopes of a regular first-team berth no harm today, certainly with his goal. And another youngster, Nathan Sherlock, is on for Sydney FC. Just his second appearance for the first team. Made his debut off the bench against Perth, the former Central Coast Mariner.
Sherlock is slotted in there next to Beauchamp and has allowed Beauchamp then to move into midfield now. A position that's not foreign to him, having played so many years in Holland.
Now Topor-Stanley doing his laces up. McKellar, has he taken it too far? Well, that's a really wasted opportunity by McKellar. Topor-Stanley down, doing up his boots. That meant that the fin was onside, but his touch was woeful, Roots.
Well, don't get that one from Topor-Stanley initially. You can see here, McKellar, that's the touch that eluded him. Way too heavy, and Ben Kennedy was brave, and he's come out and has made a great save. Great opportunity, though, for Sydney.
Well, Juha McKellar won't need telling that that was a gift, really, to get Sydney all square. Nikolai Topor-Stanley, perhaps it wasn't just his boots. In fact, looks like he's picked up a knock, the tall Newcastle custodian. Maybe this is where he picked up the knock. Oh, awkward fall from Topor-Stanley. Doesn't look too clever, does he?
He's a big boy. He's got a bit of a spring on him as well. And they say the higher you go, the harder you fall. Certainly felt that. For the time being, they're one down.
Really, McKellar should have profited from Topor-Stanley's misfortune. What a chance for Sydney FC. I think he'll be pleased our cameras have moved off him, McKellar. He's getting plenty from the cove. Letting him know in no uncertain terms what they think. Well, Mr. Cameraman, move away from Mr. McKellar. Thank you. Under 10 minutes to go. Brockie for Newcastle, who've been on the ropes, but they still lead just. And they have a free kick, chance to take a bit of a breather, perhaps. Topor-Stanley, incidentally, is okay and back on the park. Bjorn looking into the bright sunlight. It's a beautiful afternoon here in Sydney. Maybe that affected his vision. Ryan Grant, quick to get it up towards Catherine, who lets it run for McKellar. It's better play by the Finn. Now, Chianese onside, just managed to arc the run. And Kennedy with a smart piece of goalkeeping to deny him.
It's a good run by Chianese. The ball by Nick Carl, just couldn't pick him out. It's a little bit too heavy on the pass. Newcastle have to understand that they still are one up in this match. Momentum might be with Sydney FC, but mentally they've got to understand that they're still ahead. They've got to be strong and stay compact as well.
Chianese. Out-muscled unfairly by Zadkovich. Oh, he's enjoying himself, the youngster. Another chance for Jamison to try and pick out a teammate. Sands of time starting to run thin for Sydney FC. Appeals for a penalty. Quite vociferously from Michael Beauchamp. Jamison. Way by Thiago. Boscart and Jamison running into each other, and Jamison has really taken a whack. Well, he's a bit dazed and distressed, Scott Jamison. Here's the penalty appeal.
You see Beauchamp there. It's the right shoulder of Boscart, straight into the head of Jamison as he falls to the floor. That's a knockout.
Looks like a punch from Muhammad Ali, that one. So we'll restart rightly with a drop ball. Sydney will attempt to build momentum once again through Ryan Grant. Kissel. Nicky Carl is nobody wide right for Sydney FC, so the option is left, and Chianese, and his touch eludes him on that occasion. Would have been offside in any case.
Chianese trying to take that ball with the outside of his right foot. It's a tough one. First touch eluded him in the end. He was offside, as you mentioned, Simon. Still enough time in this match. Could go any way. Sydney FC need that goal to get back on level terms. Newcastle think that another goal would finish it off. Twists and turns in this match.
Well, the Jets are definitely in no hurry to take this free kick. Eventually, Kennedy sprays it out towards the direction of Beauchamp. Pepper. Good interception by Grant. Newcastle win it back. Zadkovich looking to release Griffiths with the outside of the boot, but now he's given his team a problem. Scott Jamieson. Chianese. Let's go around the outside of Zadkovich. A bit too cute. There's no doubting his confidence.
No, it's good to see all the young players in the A-League as well. Nothing wrong with taking on your opponent. You're going to make mistakes, it's okay. The best in the world make them. You just need your coach to get behind you and the senior players to get behind you as well and urge you on, tell you to keep going as well.
Good touch by Bridges. Ali Abbas gives the ball back to the Englishman. And again, the exchange passes, but Reddy quickly off his line. Early release too for Carl. Under 5 minutes to go. Sydney's hopes of staying in the top 6 hanging by a thread at the moment. Brockie offside. Already taking the free kick early. He's given it straight to Joe Wheelhouse, who attempts the David Beckham stroke Pele shot from the halfway line. And that would have really embarrassed the goalkeeper. Just a rush of block from Sydney FC goalkeeper Roots, and too much of a hurry. Here's Ali Abbas. Shakes off Beauchamp, great chance to finish it. Good save by Reddy, but poked home by Jeremy Brockie. And that's surely the 3 points now for Newcastle. They have weathered the storm. 2 goals for Brockie and probably 3 points for the Jets.
We'll put that one down, Ali Abbas. Yeah, he's only just been naturalised as well as an Aussie. Done awfully well to pick that ball up. Got the better of Michael Beauchamp. Just a shake of the hips there, a drop of the shoulder. See you later. Strikes it from distance. And ball from Rocket Reddy was parried to the path of that man there, Jeremy Brockie. It's his second for the evening. You'd say it's the winning goal for his team.
Surely the killer blow. What about the snake hips from Abbas? Absolutely brilliant. Michael Beauchamp twisted inside and out, and Jeremy Brockie, well, he could hardly miss. Goes to celebrate with the Jets supporters. And that is surely that. Sydney FC destined for their 5th home defeat of the season. And they're staying in the top 6 for now at least. Surely over.
Again, you've got to take your hat off to Gary Van Egmont. He changed things around. His team were down and out, really. 2 quick goals by Sydney FC, brought him back into contention.
Newcastle going in hunt of another goal here. Pepper. Bridges. Bosgaard, clever play by the Dutchman. Chianese. Whatever the result, what a second half we've had here. Chianese trying to go through the middle, comes for Kissel. Here's Chianese, still might unleash. Thiago got back just in the nick of time.
Well, he couldn't believe that ball fell to him, Chianese. Just didn't believe. He wasn't ruthless in front of goal as well. Good first touch. Didn't see the challenge of Thiago coming across either. Just going back to the point, it's been a fantastic tactical battle between these two coaches. 3-2 to Newcastle. And all of a sudden, he saw his team in danger of losing this match. He changed it up again into a back four with two wide midfielders as well. Which meant Grant and Jamison weren't allowed to go further forward as they were in that opening part of the second half. They've been rewarded with probably the winning goal.
Well, one thing you can't fault Vytoslav Levitska for this season at least is a lack of entertainment at the SFS. They haven't won many games. There's certainly been plenty of goals and plenty of excitement.
Well, the fans are getting their money's worth, that's for sure, here at the SFS.
$35 goals in total in 10 home league games. I'm sure the Sydney FC coach, for now at least, won't care about that. It's the result that will hurt him and his team. We've got 6 minutes of added time as Abbas chases that one down. Brockie wants it played short. He's on a hat-trick, of course. Here's Kissel. Catherine clearly offside.
You see there, Catherine well offside. Actually, the pair of them were Markel too. Well done by Topor-Stanley. Did a fantastic game tonight. This afternoon, should I say. He's led his charges at the back. He scored the opening goal as well against his old club.
Crowd figure confirmed today as just a shade over 10,000. And those who've come down the F3 are the ones who are going to be leaving the happier of the two. All of a sudden, the sting has been taken right out of this game. Sydney FC have tried so hard, and you think back to that chance that Juho Mäkelä had to level it up at 3-3. They will be kicking themselves. Mind you, they won't be too pleased about giving up 3 goals in the first half either, in fairness. Here's Carl. Skills to tear up Kissel, who sells beyond the dummy. Here's Carl inside the penalty area, shot blocked by Thiago. Back it comes for Beauchamp. Now Bosgaard. Kazarine didn't really catch it properly.
Took the wrong option, Kazarine then. Drew it down with his chest. 3 or 4 oncoming blue shirts. I just thought that he may have just played that ball into their path. Instead, he's tried to shot in the turn. It's a tough art, it's a tough skill as well.
Almost 3 minutes of added time played. Newcastle Jets about to move into the top 6, and they've got Melbourne Heart at home to come next. A team that's 7 games without a win. Perhaps the chance to gain further momentum. Sydney at the other end of the spectrum welcome Perth next to the SFS, and they're in good form. They, of course, have a match against the Gold Coast to come before that. That's tomorrow. And you'll see that live and exclusive on Fox Sports, Australia's sports leader as well. Here's Kazari. Smacks back off Griffiths, who didn't know too much about it. Bridges. Jeremy Brockie is the outlet. Pepper. Abbas. Shakes off Ryan Grant as though he wasn't there. I was going to say it wasn't a bad ball either for Ryan Griffiths, just slightly overhit. But he's certainly played his part in this game, Ali Abbas, even though only a late substitute. Beautiful manoeuvre to set up the fourth and crucial goal for Jeremy Brockie. Sydney still trying, still probing. Kennedy plucking it out of the air. And Nick Carl beats the ground in frustration. He'll have been wanting a win against his old club today. But it was not to be. And on balance, Roots, do you think a Newcastle victory is the right result?
Yeah, absolutely. In particular, those first 45 minutes of play. 3 goals to the good, and they played some wonderful football. Took a bit of time as well. The opening 10 minutes was all Sydney FC, but they got themselves back into the match. The game's all about scoring goals. They did so in the first half. In the second half, they started slowly. They got the one that counted. Look at that 2-goal buffer back as well. Can't deny Newcastle's performance this afternoon.
Hammered away to safety by Abbas. Deep inside the final minute. To make it for the exits, wearing sky blue. Topor-Stanley wins a good header. Now Ali Abbas. Jeremy Brockie, of course, would love to hit his first A-League hat-trick. He's got a chance here. Jeremy Brockie, and Ali Abbas scores. It is 5 for Newcastle. An away day to remember for the Newcastle Jets. And Ali Abbas, off the bench, has not only set one up, now he's scored one as well.
And he deserves it as well, Ali Abbas. He's been sensational since he's come onto the park as well. And you mentioned that first goal played a big hand in it. And this time around, there's a benefactor from some good lead-up play by Michael Bridges, just pushed Jeremy Brockie through. And Jeremy was smart enough as well to just lay the ball into the path of Ali Abbas. He's finished off the route for Newcastle. 5-2.
Credit to Jeremy Brockie, who could have been selfish and gone for the hat-trick. Congratulations all round on the Newcastle bench. I'm trying to think of a bigger away win for Newcastle under Gary van Egmond. Couldn't have been too many. And Ali Abbas rightly taking some of the plaudits too. All over at the Sydney Football Stadium, and what an afternoon of football we have had. Boos from the Sydney FC fans, but they can't fault the effort of their side, who really gave it a red-hot go in the second half. But for Newcastle and their fans, the long wait is over. 798 days without a win against Sydney FC. But finally they've done it. Back-to-back wins on the road for the Jets for the first time since their title-winning season. And it is a victory that is momentous for them as it lifts them into the top 6, but perhaps ominous for Sydney as they drop out of the final placings. The full-time scoreline, Sydney FC 2, the Newcastle Jets 5. What an unbelievable game that was, Mark Rudin. Brilliant to watch.
Oh, it certainly was. If you forget about the goals for a second, it really was a battle of wits between two very experienced coaches. That's what caught my eye. And again, it was wonderful entertainment for the fans, and the viewers hopefully at home enjoyed the game. 7 goals, you don't see that too often in a football match.
And responsible for 2 of them, Jeremy Brockie. He's talking with Adam Peacock. Adam.
Yeah, thanks, Simon. Jeremy made his way over here and just said, oh, we made it hard for ourselves. How did you make it hard for yourselves? We'll get to the first half in a minute, but that second half.
Yeah, obviously we had a really good first half, and we built ourselves a nice lead and win at half-time, and Gary warned us not to do what we did last time, which was go down a couple of goals and come out here, and we sort of laid off a little bit, and it didn't work for us, but luckily we cleared the gap at the end.
That first half, was that the best half of football you've played all season?
I think so. Everyone was working really hard for each other, moving off the ball and on the ball, and it felt good out there to be a part of it.
And Jeremy, you can score goals away from home. There's been 6 at home at Ausgrid so far this season, but you've got a couple today. You must be absolutely stoked about that fact.
Yeah, definitely. All the boys have been giving me a little bit of stick that only my goals come at home, so it's good to get a couple away from home, and hopefully it can carry on for the rest of the season now. That
forward line, though, especially in that first half, looked to be functioning so well. You pushed Tarek on, and you knew exactly where everyone had to be and when. Yeah, that's... Well, from when Gary took over, that's what he wanted us to do, moving and interchanging, and slowly starting to come through for us now, and onwards and upwards from here. Congrats, mate. Well played.
On the losing side, Vyacheslav Levitska has his usual lap around the SFS to applaud the Sydney FC supporters. I can tell you he's kept a safe distance, though, perhaps after the loss today, because 1 or 2 were booing him in the Cove. Gary van Egmond, by contrast, of course, getting the high fives from the Newcastle Jets supporters, and why not? Great win for them. Not a great day, not a great week perhaps for Vyacheslav Levitska. 3 years in charge at the SFS, but a week that ends in disappointment and a heavy defeat at the hands of the Newcastle Jets. Here's the way it happened. 3 goals in quick succession for Newcastle in the first half, all scored, funnily enough, by ex-Sydney FC players. Nikolai Topor-Stanley with the first after Liam Reddy had made a brilliant initial stop. Then 8 minutes later, Ruben Zadkovich away down the left, and a very good half volley to beat Liam Reddy at the far post. That was 2-0, and a few boos from the Cove as he pointed to the name on the back of his jersey. And the same routes from the left flank. Tarek Elrich, the provider this time. Jeremy Brockie making it a hat-trick of former Sky Blues on the score sheet. That's the way it was at half-time, and you fancied that the Jets would be pretty comfortable in the second half, but not so. Hirofumi Moriyasu started the journey for Sydney FC. That goal just 2 minutes into the second half, and when Michael Beauchamp prodded home this effort, you fancied another great Sydney FC comeback was on the cards, but it was not to be for the Sky Blues. Juho McKellar had a fantastic opportunity to make it 3-3, but Ali Abbas's arrival off the bench perhaps just tipped the balance. His snake hips got rid of Michael Beauchamp. Jeremy Brockie profited and made it 3-2, or 4-2 I should say. And then in the 5th minute of injury time, Abbas again released on the left-hand side, and he prodded home what was to prove to be the final goal, the 7th goal of a quite fantastic afternoon's entertainment at the Sydney Football Stadium. The Newcastle Jets victorious on the road for just the 2nd time this season, but it's the 2nd time in a week. They are happy as at the moment, and they're in the top 6. Plenty more to come here on Fox Sports. We've got the post-game show with Adam and Bozza. Send us your thoughts. There'll be Bozza's opinions and all the reaction and analysis from the players and coaches too. Don't go away.
Welcome back to the Sydney Football Stadium. That is a happy bunch of players. They've won the league. No, they've beaten Sydney FC on their home turf. Not beaten, thrashed 5-2 to the Newcastle Jets this afternoon on a splendid day if you're from Nova Castria. If you're not, if you're from Sydney, a horrid day. The 3-2-1 thanks to Mark Rudin in the Alex Tobin Award. Nikolai Topor-Stanley with the 3. Jeremy Brockie got 2 goals, got 2 points. Ruben Zadkovich got 1 goal and got 1 point. Pretty good performance from him, all told.
He just came in, Ruse, to say that he made a mistake, that he wanted Brockie to have the 3 and Topor the 2.
Too bad.
All right, I'm just saying, just to let our viewers know, that's all. He wanted us to point that out, so there you go.
Speak of Newcastle first, mate.
Yes.
What did you make of them?
I thought first half they were absolutely excellent. They're really starting to believe in the cultural change that Gary Van Egmond has brought, the way they wanted to play. That it's taken a lot of patience. A lot of people up in Nova Castria have been complaining, saying that it's not really happening and so forth. But I think they've shown the last 2 weeks it is starting to happen. Gary Van Egmond got it spot on in the first half. He pushed Tarek Elrich up on one side and he pushed Ryan Griffiths up on the other, and basically played with 4 up front, and Sydney didn't have a clue what to do. And when Sydney went 1-0 down, their heads dropped. 5 or 6 of the players really were just trying to hide, and once you got 5 or 6 of your team trying to do that, then they're on a loser. They came back as you'd expect, but this has happened all season with Sydney. They've come back, when they're 2-0 down, 1-0 down. It's not good enough. Basically it's not good enough. And I made my thoughts clear, like I said to you, what I thought about the announcement during the week having an effect.
You did. Let's hear from Nikolai Topor-Stanley. Here he is with Simon.
Well, Nikolai, a big win and a goal against your former club. Doesn't come much better than that.
Yeah, massive effort by the boys, and good to get on the score sheet as well.
Made it a bit difficult for yourselves, though, in the second half. What went wrong for you?
I think it's just a little bit of momentum swing. Sydney got on top of us and we couldn't really get over half. And, but we never gave up. We tried to force them back, but, in the end, it kind of played into our hands. We got 2 goals in the counter.
How important was that win for you today, to go back-to-back for the first time in an awful long time away from home?
Yeah, it's a massive result. We went to last week's game hoping we could get something out of it, and we did, and that gave us a big confidence boost, and that lifted the camp a lot the previous week. So we took that into today's game. Just a final word. You picked up a bit of a knock towards the end there. Everything okay? Yeah, it took a bit of a jar to my shoulder, but the physio said we had no more subs, so I had to quickly get back on and just shake it off. All fit for Melbourne Heart next week. That's the one. Cheers, Nikolai. Cheers, mate.
Yeah, good performance from the former Sydney FC boys this afternoon. Michael Bridges feeling a bit left out, the fact that he didn't get a goal, but a pretty good performance. He done well when he come on as well, and credit must go as well to Gary Van Egmond in the second half. He didn't wait. When it got to 3-2, he made the changes. He went back to playing 4 at the back, 4 in midfield and 2 up front, brought Bjorn on, brought Ali Abbas on and Michael Bridges, and made the changes, because at that time there was every chance that Sydney may have got back into the game. But like I said to you before, they can't keep just starting like this. This is the first half. This is all about delivery. Good save by Reddy, and again, is Topor-Stanley first to the second ball, and I'm sorry, that comes down to one word, and that is desire to get there first. He wanted to make it his after it come off the rebound. Look at this. The first half goals. 2 Sydney players around that ball. It's a great save by Reddy. Who wants to get to it most? Topor-Stanley does, and he scores. The 3 first half goals, Topor-Stanley and Zadkovich and also Brockie. Just in respect to, and we spoke about how they were created and everything like that, and it was a lot to do with things like this, going to Tarek Elrich down this left-hand side for Newcastle. Wouldn't Sydney, how would you say Sydney handled things on the bench? Half an hour in, maybe change things perhaps, or wait until you get to the half-time break? No, after the second goal going in, I would have changed it even before this, because it was quite obvious what was happening. Sydney's main attacking prowess comes from either Nicky Carl or from the 2 fullbacks going wide, especially when Bruno Casarin plays, because he's good in the air. So the 2 fullbacks were basically nullified because they did not want to push them forward. They stick with that midfield dime. In the second half, they change it around. It's completely different. They push Moriyasu up, they push Kissel up. All of a sudden, there's the goal. Going to have a great ball by Elrich, the goal for Jeremy Brockie. All of a sudden, in the second half, Newcastle have to drop one of their midfielders back, releases one of their fullbacks, which is one of their main attacking weapons. And like I said, you can't wait till you're 3-0 down in half-time to keep making these changes. Gary Van Egmond made a great example. 3-2, looked as though, it could have went either way at that stage. Did not hesitate, made the change his system around. Sometimes you can be too proud for your own good, And if it needs that you need to change and you have to be adaptable, then you have to do it. You have to do what it takes to win a football game. It's too important. There's 7 games left, and Sydney are still, they were in the 6th today. They could have made a huge gap for them and the rest of the sides to go into the 6th. It was a very important game for them. So there you go. It's disappointed. Gary Van Egmond, he's not disappointed right now, I dare say. Here he is with Simon Hill.
Well, Gary, congratulations. You got the win, but I'm guessing as a coach that pays a lot of attention to detail, you're not entirely happy with the way things went in the second half.
No, look, we've come out, we're 3-0 ahead, and really we should just kill the game off. But we invited them back in, and they scored 2 goals, and credit to Sydney. So we changed it up again and went to a back 4, and that gave us a little bit more solidity there, and actually covered the space down the flanks of where we were starting to get hurt a little bit. And again, we started to control the game a little bit better when we did that, and then a couple of changes. Always nice when you make a couple of changes and they come on and either assist or score.
Your game plan in the first half certainly worked a treat, though.
Yeah, it was good. You know, I mean, obviously they play with a 2 up, and again, sometimes you can get overloaded in the midfield against a diamond. So we went with a diamond for ourselves and then played the 3 up front. And yeah, it worked. And the changing and switching of the play probably could have been done at times a little bit quicker. But you know, I can't be unhappy with a win like that.
Back-to-back wins, of course, as well, for the first time, I think, in over 12 months, and rare back-to-back away victories. Do you feel as though the club has got some momentum now, finally?
Yeah, the players are definitely taking a lot of confidence out of the results that we're getting, and obviously when I came in here, I'm trying to change things to a degree as far as the way that we had to play and what have you. So more and more work on the training field and more understanding, and you know, you just have to keep on working with the players and getting them to understand their roles with and without the ball. And you know, it's about, you know, the old cliche, it's about the performance, but it really is about the performance, and we have to keep working and building on what we've done again today and get ready for next week.
Well done, Gary. Thanks for your time.
Thanks, Simon. Are you sweating as much as me? Excellent.
Sweated down there. It's a sweat box down there in that little interview room. He got absolutely everything right, you'd say, this afternoon, Gary Van Egmond, and the way he set up his team. And also the fact that when, just before Sydney scored their first goal, he saw it coming. He yelled out at the top of his voice, switch on, in the 47th minute.
Well, he's right. They did invite pressure back on. But I challenge any team who are going in at 3-0 at half-time. I wouldn't say switch off, but you do. Just even subconsciously relax a little bit. You want to just tend to play. It's a second nature to try to make it as easy as possible for yourself. Gave them the kick up the pants, and then Sydney got right back into it, and then he was forced to make a change, and that was enough for Newcastle. Was coming back to my point about Sydney. It takes for them every time they get close to, you know, like 3-2 and all that, and all of a sudden the other team put the gas on. They've got nothing left. And it's happened too many times, you know, for it to be just a coincidence.
10th home game of the season today, and the 8th time they have fallen behind at home. Quite an incredible stat there for Sydney. Anyway, we're off to a break. We're going to analyse things further from the Sydney Football Stadium after the break. No, there's not been a mass invasion. Everyone's going to get a $5.5 fine. They've been invited onto the pitch here. A sunny part. What's been a sunny day, but otherwise gloomy for Sydney FC fans here this afternoon at Sydney Football Stadium. Back in a moment with plenty more to wrap this one up. For Jets fans, it's going to be a happy trip back up the F3. Takes about 2 hours from Sydney. It's going to be a worthwhile journey. Jeremy Brockie with his first and second goals away from home, 7th and 8th of the season. And good to see that man, Bozza, Ali Abbas, getting on the score sheet as well.
Recently citizenship Australian.
Citizenship.
Yeah, I didn't naturalised. There we go.
There you go.
Yeah, we spoke to him, didn't we, down in the bench and congratulate him, and he went on and scored. He's a good player, Ali Abbas. Yeah. And nice player to bring on during that time when you need to start to get a grip of the ball.
Ruben Zadkovich was good this afternoon. He got a point in the eyes of Mark Rudin in the Alex Tobin Award. Here he is with Simon.
Well, Ruben, same question as I posed to Nikolai Topor-Stanley. An away win and a goal against your former club. It must be an amazing feeling.
Yeah, it's more the win that we're also happy about. You know, we went like almost a year. I think it was a year without a win away from home, and it was a bit of a burden on us when we used to travel away. And last week we got that off our back, and then we knew that we were going to be a good chance here against Sydney. And I think, you know, all the hard work and the effort and the way we're trying to change the style of play, I think it's, you know, slowly paying dividends.
One of the strange things that football sometimes throws up 3 former Sydney FC players on the score sheet in the first half.
It's a funny thing. We're having this conversation only yesterday about how it's coincidental how many times players score against their old clubs, and it was certainly a good feeling to score against Sydney, and I was stoked for Nikolai, and I was also really happy for Jeremy Brockie and Ali as well, because Ali, he's an Australian citizen now officially, and I'm really happy for him. He played really well. You enjoyed your celebration too. You went over to the Cove and made sure they saw your name on the back of your shirt. Oh, yeah, it's all just part of football, mate. All fun and games. I'm proud to be at Newcastle at the moment. I'm loving it there, and I guess it was just a good feeling to school. That's all. Congratulations. Well done. Thanks for talking to us. Thanks very much. Cheers.
Good day to be an old boy.
Talks like an angel, doesn't he? He plays like a devil.
Nicely summarised. How would you summarise the table as we're seeing it right now? Bozza with Central Coast coming back to the pack a little bit after this weekend.
Well, and I said before the game, if Newcastle could win today, they're going to really throw a cat amongst the pigeons, and I believe that they will, and they'll do some damage if they get into that top 6. Look, it's all there still to play for, in my opinion. 7 games to go. Perth Glory and Gold Coast obviously got one more extra, as well as Central Coast Mariners. That one they got postponed against Gold Coast United. But for me, for all the way second, still down to Adelaide, have got a chance to get into the 6.
And Perth Glory tomorrow night looking to keep their winning run alive against Gold Coast United. That one from 10 p.m. Eastern on Fox Sports 1 HD. So looking forward to that. Bozza, thanks very much for your company.
Adam. Thank you, Adam. Thanks to our viewers, as usual.
Indeed. It's been Newcastle's afternoon. Sydney FC, big announcement through the week. A different kind of announcement, a different kind of vibe around the club right now after what they produced on the pitch. The next few days could be pretty much as interesting as last week off the field for Sydney FC. But Newcastle don't care. They're back up the highway with 3 points in their pocket. On behalf of myself, Mark Bosnich, Mark Rudin, Simon Hill and the entire Fox Sports crew from the Sydney Football Stadium, it's bye for now. Enjoy your football.